Thank you again to Hunter Tools and Thompson Tools for being a sponsor for my YouTube channel.
Hello, welcome to my shop again. I just got my new Robust just a few weeks ago. Been working it through its paces. Had some students here and done some work myself, having some fun with it. So I wanted to share some of the features of this. So I want to do a little clip here that's going to be about lathes in general, but the Robust specifically. Really, it's almost like a commercial for Robust, but I'm going to talk about all the features that would apply to any lathe, and then you can compare if you're thinking about upgrading to a lathe or getting different lathes. Some of the features might help you make some decisions on what lathe to get. Okay, Robust has a really good website that has all the features and a lot of information on there, and I'm going to cover some of the things that Robust has on their website, but I'm also, after working with the lathe, I've discovered some things that are really sweet. I've been doing this turning thing for 50, going on 60 years if you count my time as a kid turning. And so things don't get me too excited too often. I'm pretty routine with things. I've worked on every lathe in the world probably while I'm doing demos around the country and things. But some of the things here that Brent English has done engineering the Robust is really super. So I'll share some of those things with you. Okay, all the Robust lathes have a stainless steel bed, which is kind of cool. The rust is not an issue when you're working with woods with some tannic acid and things. You don't get any staining or rust on your bed. The other feature is the sliding headstock. Many of the big lathes don't have a sliding headstock. It's really nice to have to bring it down to work on a project where you can stand in front of the lathe. I don't usually do that, but it's nice to have if you're going to work on the inside of a bowl. It's a big bowl and you got to stand there for a while. It's a nice feature. The speeds that Brent has in here, there's two belts as well as the variable speed drive. The two belts are really nicely tuned so that the speed is very versatile to get the kinds of things, the power where you need it. Another thing they've done here is a very easy change of belt situation so that you can just loosen that motor up and change the belts real simply from in front of the lathe. And just another good example of good engineering here. And of course it's got the big 3 horsepower motor. On most of them you can get 2 horse. The 3 horse is an upgrade. Now on the American Beauty, they have a very large swing, 25-inch swing, so that you can do some big stuff. On the Sweet 16 is a more standard 16-inch swing with the bed, but you can have the gap in the middle to do 32 inches. So again, Robust has designed some features to do any size and shape that you want of vessels. One of the other things that's engineered here is the shape of the headstock allows you to get your handle down and do the work without the headstock getting in the way. Most of them have some more bulky headstock there, so very well engineered. I've added an outlet strip here, but Robust has their own. If you want to use their very nice plug outlet. That's an accessory also. Another feature that they've built into this, doesn't matter if you're tall or short, you can change the height of the lathe to fit you exactly the way that you want it to. Right, another nice little feature they have is the spindle lock, real easy to get to and to use. You just pop it into place, and when it's locked, it also electronically shuts the lathe off, so you can't turn the lathe on when the spindle's locked. You have to push it back down and then it'll go. So great feature there. Okay, we have a very strong and accurate indexing system here. There's a pin that threads itself into the notches for the indexing. So it's a very, very nicely machined piece of equipment there. Okay, as these lathes get bigger and bigger, when you upgrade your lathe, the tailstock gets pretty heavy to maneuver. To get it off the lathe and set it down someplace and then get it back on the lathe can be a little difficult. In this case, this is a heavy duty. It's got a lot of strong features in it, so it weighs about 50 pounds. One of the accessories is this tilt-away, and this is so sweet. The tilt-away has a shock assist, so when you lower it, it falls into place and has an extended bed. And then when you lift it, I mean, it's just, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see how easy this is to lift. Okay, it takes all the work out of it. Really sweet. All right, most lathes have their on-off switches up at the headstock. And I think that's dangerous. I've recommended, and I've done DVD or YouTube clips and things on setting up the lathe. I always want my on and off switch at the tailstock end, okay, because I don't want to be standing in the danger zone when I turn it on, and if something happens, I want access to the off switch down there. Robust has done two things, though. They also have an emergency off down here. So now if I'm stuck on either side of the lathe and I need to turn it off, I can bang it with my knee or hit it real quickly. The remote is on some nice rare earth magnets that you can move it around. I don't think it's smart to move it around. I want to have it in the same place all of the time. So I've got it set in here at the farthest towards the tailstock that I can get, and I'm just going to leave it here. It's for emergency purposes. You want to be able to shut that off in a heartbeat. One of the early warnings for something going wrong is your hearing. You hear something and boom, you want to shut it off. And it's kind of, after a while, it's just instinct. You know where that off button is. You don't have to look for it or remember where you put the remote last. Okay. Everything here is top notch, first class. All of the parts that are used are the best available. We have a forward and reverse that can be used anytime, whether the lathe is running or stopped. You go in reverse or forward. The speed indicator runs nice and smooth, nice and strong. Electronics in here. Everything is done the best that you can get. Okay, to show the confidence that Robust and Brent has in his lathes, he has a 7-year warranty. That's the best in the industry. From head to toe, anything, bearings, motor, everything is warranted. Save the best feature for last, I think, for me anyway, with my flag on my shoulder and appreciation of vets. I appreciate that this is made in USA. Right over in Wisconsin. All the parts are, if they're not made in the Robust factory, they're made by other vendors real nearby up in the middle of Wisconsin. So made in USA is important to me. Okay, in a second category of features that I've discovered just because of using it and figuring some things out. These aren't really publicized that much, so hopefully give you some insight. Some of the help that's a little different on Robust than some of the other lathes. First, this comes with an owner's manual that is just very well done. Lots of safety features in it, a complete how to get it, how to operate it and use it. One of the things in the owner's manual that's kind of nice is a spindle speed table, so that you know exactly what speed you're going depending on which belt you're using. In the owner's manual, he even has directions on how to disassemble it if you really want to, and that might be something you'd need to do if you're going to have your shop in the basement and you need to get it downstairs or use stairs of any kind, probably. It comes about 850 pounds in the crate, so they give you directions on how to move it intact, and then how to even take it apart to move it downstairs if you need to. It really comes fully assembled, so it's just plug it in and go kind of thing. The crate that it comes in is very sturdy, a full pallet with 2x6s and plywood to protect it. So you just take the crate apart and set it in place, and you're good to go. Okay, we've got something new here. The Robust comes with a drive center that has a cup and a pin, and the regular small drive centers, as some of these are made by some other manufacturers, they're good for spindle turning, because when you get a catch, it'll slip and allow the prevent the catch from getting too violent, because the wood stops and the lathe keeps going. Well, in my process, I don't like that. I don't want that, because I have a very easy methods that I use my tools, that I can start taking fairly large cuts and be aggressive with it. So I don't want the wood to stop. I'm never going to get a catch. I understand the rules of the cutting forces, so I don't want the wood to stop, and I don't want it to spin on there. One of the features of the drive center is that it's got an adjustable pin. We can loosen up that center pin and scooch it out, and I use that when I'm using my centering method of finding the balance point. I get on that little tiny pin and be able to balance the wood. So that's a nice feature to be able to maneuver on the block of wood while you're finding your final axis. So start off on the balance point and then move it to your ultimate best position. So that's all there with the adjustable pin. But I don't like the smaller drive center the way that I use them. So they have a larger cup that goes on here, and I've always used the 4-prong center. It's been a very strong grip to the wood, and I tax the wood. I pour the coal to it quite a bit, and I was a little bit skeptical with this, but I've been running it through some tests, and it is unbelievable the strength that this has to hold large pieces of wood and securely so that it won't strip. You can always loosen up your tailstock if you want to let it slip a little bit if you're a new turner and getting some catches. But I am really impressed with this. The engineering on this is unbelievable. I haven't tried it on anything huge yet, any 24 inch pieces, but I'm pretty confident that'll work in most of the things that are a normal scale for most of us. Another nice feature is the lockdown mechanism for the tool rest. He's got a different clamping mechanism than just a post pushing in on the bolt pushing in on the post. So very well engineered there also. Another feat of engineering here is a redesigned live center. This is really sweet. The flexibility of this is great. Again, it has a set screw so that the center pin can be used actually in 3 different orientations. We can have it extended out so that you can just use the pin. We could have it pushed in so that we just use the cup. If we're on the bottom of a vessel where we don't want to make a pin protrusion, where we want to salvage the wood and not have any wasted wood, we can use just the cup. And if we extend it out, we can actually extend that pin out even further. And what that does, what I've been using that for, is a replacement for the cone. Okay, what they've done there is that the angle of the pin is exactly the same as the cone, so that's a very flexible piece of equipment there. But without having the big cone around it, I have more access. I can get closer to my work and use the pin when I'm working in the bottom of a vessel, when I'm reverse turning, to hold on to it, to clean up the bottom with light cuts and things. You would never use the pin alone or the cone alone to hog off with. That's taking too much pressure and risking that moving or slipping on you. But for light work like finishing the bottoms is perfect. All right. Now one more little trick here, and this is a whole new thing. I get a little bit excited about this. He's going to take this and we're going to put it in the other way. Okay. And now he has a flat spot. In fact, this feature is going to change the way I do the bottom of my vessels when I'm reverse turning. Okay. What I'm going to do now, and you'll see it maybe in my next YouTube clip, is I'm going to drill a hole the same size as this shaft, very shallow hole, so this will seat in the bottom of my vessel and hold it very securely. Rather than having the point, which does some damage to the wood, the flat is going to be less damage to the wood, and so it's going to do everything that I want to do, only more securely, since I have a flat to work with. And the pin is a larger diameter than any of the other pins, so it's nice and strong and sturdy, so that it's not going to risk bending them. Some of the other smaller pins in some of the drives and live centers are too small, and they risk bending them. So this is a great piece of engineering here. Okay, the tailstock is also extremely well engineered. The fit and finish is perfect. I like the extra large and sturdy heavy duty quill, and the handle to tighten it. Lots of great things here. The knobs and the levers are strong, and everything, all good ergonomics all the way around. Okay, I hope just walking through this will help you evaluate some of the decisions that you need to make if you're thinking about a lathe of any kind. The features, the little things are important here. I'm sure that I'm going to find other things along the way as I start to work with this lathe. It's such a well-engineered machine. The devil's in the details. It's all of the parts and engineering are done. It's the best that you can get, so I'm really pleased with this. So stay tuned, and you'll watch me using this over the years, or over the number of videos coming up soon. So we'll see you next time around.
When you are ready to upgrade your lathe, or you want any robust accessories, give me a call.